following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. And welcome into a Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports. Today on the program, we'll be joined by Chip Walters of the Blue Raiders, our weekly visit with Choose Chip. We thank you for choosing Main Street Sports today. We'll talk MTSU. Also, some college baseball news, some new polls, old polls from the end of the season. What's happening with Forsberg and the Nashville Predators? Also, ACC goes to PREDS. Might the SEC? There's a lot of talk about it. The Braves daily chatter and so much more. It is Top 5 Tuesday. Video games. And we've got a doozy of a top story for you on this Tuesday. JP playing alongside Chris Yao, the sub-job kid from Alabama, as our fearless Hall of Famer and sports writer of the year is traveling back from his awards last night. So, Chris, happy Tuesday, and no need to waste time, as you got some interesting news just minutes before we came on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Top story today. The opening pitch comes from Los Angeles, as Freddie Freeman has fired Excel Sports Management as his representation. And I think it's pretty big news, considering that he's just coming back off of his first trip back to Atlanta since signing with the Dodgers after the Braves traded for Matt Olson. And, to be honest with you, I think this certainly means that there are some questions that need to be answered. I tweeted this to Mo, and I said, maybe we were wrong. Maybe Freddie really was aggravated at his agent, but at the time he couldn't afford to really do anything about it because he only had one shot left, right? To get to LA. And Mo said, well, no, maybe we were right. Maybe that wasn't necessarily the case, but he did. Was this weekend the last straw? Absolutely.
It's interesting, the timing of this. And I don't know how you can look at it any other way than, being back in Atlanta and seeing firsthand perhaps what was missed out. He obviously, at least publicly, he talked about beforehand that he wanted to stay in Atlanta. And that's nice, and players say that, and I think they truly mean it. They'd love to stay, but they understand
he certainly did.
Yeah, and it's a business, and sometimes it doesn't work out. However, it's a little. It also feels a little too late. If you were this upset enough to where you could do something about it now, why couldn't you have done something about it before? That's the issue I have with it.
Do I think that Excel Sports Management and his agent did anything that Freddie told them not to do? No. But I think there was a miscommunication between Freddie and his management and his agent.
That's on Freddie.
Well, maybe, but also maybe it's on the agent for saying, no, I'm going to get the best deal I can, damn where you end up playing. You know what I mean?
Well, and I still think ultimately that's on the player to construe what his wishes are. And I just, why now? Unless something has materialized that the agent or the agency did or did not do that Freddie has found out recently, say over the weekend.
He very well may could.
And that could be the case too.
I think it's very possible that he had a conversation with somebody in the front office, and they said, look, your agent said this, and Freddie said, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, there are some photos from this weekend where you can tell Freddie Freeman is as close to distraught
Yeah.
as you can be during a baseball game. I mean, he looked physically in pain sitting on the bench while his entire team, the LA Dodgers, were standing at the railing watching the game from the dugout. It's pretty telling. The question now is, if you're the Braves, is there any buyer's remorse on Matt Olson? Or do you feel like you made the right decision no matter what and you just roll with it?
I think there's less buyer's remorse because you got a really good ball player. And you commented about, maybe not quite as a gifted fielder as Freddie Freeman. And Freddie was special. I mean, he was an MVP. But I don't think the buyer's remorse necessarily would be with Olson. Apparently, but to what we're talking about, there was maybe some things said by the agent or the agency that was not 100% accurate back to their client and Freddie. But and again, we're just speculating because the timing is. I don't think it's coincidental. Things like this rarely are. So either something materialized, or Freddie just got so emotional after being back in Atlanta and seeing all of that, and was like, it's been weighing on me. I can't accept this anymore. This is not what I wanted, and so maybe that happened. But it's unfortunate, and but you can't look back. And I think the Braves are still in a good position.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You got Matt Olson, who is not comparable because, again, it's Freddie Freeman. He's an MVP, leader of your team. But you get at least a top 12 major league first baseman for about $2 million less a year.
Yep.
And you get him for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I think the Braves are happy with their decision.
Well,
I think they would love to, obviously if there was a time machine, there might be some different thoughts, but there's not.
Yeah.
I think you got to be happy with your decision if you're Alex Anthopoulos.
Well, I agree. And we talked about this, of course, at length when it happened. And right away, both you and Mo were like, business wise, this is a good deal. It's a very good deal. I mean, yeah, you hate to see Freddie go because he was kind of the heart and soul of that team to some degree, or part of it. He was the clear leader of that team. But what you were getting, the quality with what you were getting at the value you were getting it was.
It's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat. So on paper and from a business perspective, it was widely recognized as a positive for Atlanta.
And you really didn't give anything up, even in hindsight, because Shea Langeliers is going to be a very good major league catcher, but you've got Travis d'Arnaud, who's less than 30, or I guess he is 30, and you've got William Contreras, who has obviously shown he can be a major league baseball player at catcher. And then you gave up a couple of decent arms. I mean, yeah, they were top 6 pitchers in your farm system, but the fact is the Braves' arms are not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of, some of their arm barn issues, but that's it. Those guys weren't going to be bullpen arms. They were meant to be starters. And so did you really give up much of your future?
Yeah.
No, but you got your future at first base.
You do.
It's just.
Now, I mean, with this being said, I mean, I can't imagine that any kind of future deal, next year or the year after. I mean, can you potentially trade to get Freddie back?
You'd have to get rid of Matt Olson.
You'd have to.
And
that
why would
be
you?
Part of the deal.
But why would you?
I agree.
That's the question. I mean, if
go back,
if you were stuck with, a 2 or 3, maybe a 2-year deal with Matt Olson or something, and you couldn't extend him before the season started, blah, blah, blah. You don't get to that 8-year, then yeah, maybe you go, sure, we'll take him back. But with what you have now, nope, not a chance.
Yep.
All right.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, exactly. All the way to the West Coast through the Panama Canal. Let's do the rundown on JP. It's short today as well, shorter than even yesterday, but we do have at least a decent schedule on tap. So tell us about it.
You got it.
This is the rundown. This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
All right. As we look at the schedule from yesterday, results. Major League Baseball was the Cardinals shutting out the Marlins 9-0. The Twins over the Guardians 11-1. Still getting used to saying that. Sonny Gray, though, former Vanderbilt pitcher, with the dub for
former
the
Smyrna
star.
That's right.
Even closer. WNBA last night, Las Vegas 79-73 winners over Los Angeles. It was Phoenix 83-71 over Indiana. Schedule for today, the Braves begin a series in Philadelphia at the Phillies, 6:05 tonight, Central on Valley. It's the Brewers at the Rays at 6:10, 6:45. We'll see the Cardinals host the Marlins. And at 7 tonight at Wrigley, the Cubs hosting the Reds. The Sounds begin another home series against Indianapolis tonight, 6:05. You can hear it on 94.9 ESPN. Jeff Him with the call. WNBA action, Atlanta at Washington at 6. It's on the Deuce, and on ESPN3 tonight, Dallas at Minnesota. It's a 7 o'clock opening tip. Women's international friendly in soccer at Sandy, Utah. They're taking on Columbia. That's at 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Love the friendlies. Sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not. But that is your Tuesday Rundown. It is brought to you by Jim Davis at growlivegive.com.
Indianapolis still the Indians, by the way. And I think they should go back to what they were. Didn't Hank Aaron play for the Clowns? The Indianapolis Clowns? I believe he did. So yeah, I think they should go back to the Clowns.
That'd be good.
I don't know which would be more. I don't know which would be more inappropriate though.
Be kind of hard to take him seriously, but you know,
great mascot though.
It would be, yeah. And isn't that what minor league baseball is all about?
It's all about the mascot.
That's right. That's where you can really push the limits on what's a reasonable mascot for sure.
Yeah, because I don't know what chickens have to do with sounds, but hey, Booster the Rooster, baby.
Booster.
JP, let's talk about the lunacy that is college baseball polls.
Hey-o.
Their postseason polls came out, and it's ridiculous. And what the heck are the Preds doing in regards to Philip Forsberg? There's a lot to get into here. So
maybe they should pay attention to what we just talked about with the Braves.
Hello, David Boyle. Exactly. Let's talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay tuned, stick around. All of those things.
All of the above.
This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Still to come on Main Street Sports Today on this Tuesday, Chip Walters will be joining us around 3 o'clock today for his weekly visit, talking all things Blue Raiders. Also, our Top 5 Tuesday is going to be video games. Video games. I don't think it's any coincidence. Maybe we chose this one on a day that Mo is not here. Right, Chris? I don't see him playing video games. But I'm intrigued by this.
It's funny. and it's not like...
It wasn't intentional.
It's not it's not an age thing, but like I could definitely see Mo playing like Pac-Man.
Think so? Oh, at an arcade. Absolutely.
Like an arcade Pac-Man.
Yeah.
See, I can see that.
Which is good. That's a classic. Like Mo. A classic.
Maybe he played Tecmo Bowl or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that maybe.
I am looking forward to this top 5 though, because it's really hard for me because there are some games that aren't going to be on my list that I played a lot. So, and my dad's going to be like, why is it such and such on there? You played that thing 4,000 days in a row at, sitting at Athletic Way. He'd make me get my homework done first, and then
of course
I could play the video games. And
of course.
Then it was homework. Then we had a guy who worked for my granddad who would make me go outside and dribble with both my right hand and my left hand. I had to dribble like 1,000 times, or 100 times or whatever it was with both hands before I could do anything else.
There you go.
So
proper motivation.
It was, and not only was it, motivation, but it, he knew that I wanted to be, I wanted to be a basketball player and athlete. So it was certainly good to have someone who was willing to push me that way. So
we all need that from time to time.
No question. Especially when you're, 7 or 8 years old and all you want to do is play, Super Nintendo.
Sure.
Donkey Kong, baby. Or whatever.
Nintendo,
yeah. I grew up with Super. I know you're a little older than me, so you had the
original,
NES.
The OG.
Yeah, that's okay. You played Paperboy all day long. I know.
Paperboy. No, I don't think I ever played the Paperboy.
Oh, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite games. It won't be on my list, but it's a good one. College baseball coaches poll released today.
This is the end of the season or the
postseason?
Okay.
Postseason coaches poll.
Yep.
And maybe you can tell me, because I just didn't pay attention to college baseball before Tennessee was relevant. And the only reason I pay attention to them now is because they're, goofballs. Even if they were good, but just normal good, like I wouldn't care. But
like Vanderbilt?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if I were a Vanderbilt fan and, I probably, I might care if I was a Vanderbilt fan because it was, the only thing you got.
care because you're a Vanderbilt fan.
But
you're right. I mean, it's
and so these people who say that Tennessee baseball hasn't brought any new fans, they're wrong. I am one of those new fans. But apparently it is tradition to rank the teams who go to the World Series 1 through 8 and then go.
I wasn't aware of that, and hearing that it just it doesn't seem proper. I guess in a world of power rankings. I mean, isn't that what this is? I assume. I mean, baseball. I just is Tennessee the ninth best team in the country? No, they're much better than that, even though they didn't advance.
Right.
It's difficult.
And to do it that way,
pass the smell test.
To do it that way, implies that one, the committee got every single seed right. Well, clearly they didn't because Ole Miss won the national championship and they were the last team in. So, I mean, I think we really need to rethink the way that we're doing college baseball polls. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it is different. There's no question it is different than any other poll, postseason poll, because the Final Four, I don't think, I don't know this because I certainly don't study the end of the season polls because, I mean, really it's, you got your winner and everybody else is second to some degree. But I don't think the Final Four teams are listed 1 through 4 in the college basketball. I'm pretty certain that the Final Four teams in the college football playoff are not automatically listed 1 through 4. It's literally who they think at that point is the best, the best team, and seed them accordingly. Now, to that point, you could absolutely make an argument that it is warranted because the teams that were playing the best baseball right now or had just finished were the ones that advanced, right? Being a tournament, you could make that argument. I can understand someone trying to make that argument. I don't know enough about it. It doesn't feel right just yet, but that doesn't mean that it's not the proper way to do it. And ultimately, it doesn't mean anything. But
it doesn't.
But it is different and worth talking about. Because
especially when Stanford ranked 6th and Auburn ranked 7th, and Auburn beat Stanford. Oklahoma.
Who was 8th then? Would that have been Texas?
Texas, I think, yeah.
They were the last of the World Series teams.
Let me go look because that's a good question.
Go, right? So does that mean Oklahoma was 2?
Oklahoma was 2.
Yeah.
I do know that to be a fact.
And Arkansas maybe 3?
Arkansas was, in fact...
I mean, if you're just going by the way that the tournament finished, I mean, they took Ole Miss to the
Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Arkansas, A&M, Notre Dame, Stanford, Auburn, Texas, and then Tennessee.
Yeah, they just went by, how they finished in the tournament.
Except putting Stanford ahead of Auburn, because Stanford went 2 in barbecue. Auburn won. Auburn was in the Final Four.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Stanford was the they were the highest seed going.
They were the 2 seed going in,
and maybe that's why it's interesting that everything else is chalk per the tournament for those 8 teams, except that. That's where they chose to play into. Well, they were the 2 seed coming in, so
it's just weird.
I
don't know how. I mean, if you're going to rank them that way, I mean, sure, they're Auburn and Notre Dame. You could decide which one was better there.
Mm-hmm.
A&M, Arkansas. You'd have to decide which one was better there. And I think they made the right call. If we were ranking the teams as they finished at the World Series, I think everything except Auburn behind Stanford is accurate.
Yeah.
But I certainly think that Tennessee is one of the. I think I can make an argument for Tennessee being 6th behind Notre Dame.
Sure. Yeah,
That's it is again. It doesn't matter. I just
And
think I just think it's a flawed way of looking at it. If you're going to, if the top 8 have to be the ones who went to the World Series.
who do they have number 10 behind Tennessee as the second best non-college World Series team?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know because, here we go. Here's the full poll. Number 10 is Oregon State, and that's probably accurate.
They were the 3 seed.
They were the 3 seed. Then Virginia Tech, East Carolina, Southern Miss at 13.
Basically, they're just going by the seeds.
Basically,
And
Vanderbilt 24th, LSU, Florida 21, LSU 22. Gonzaga dropped out. Georgia Southern dropped out because they didn't get out of their region.
It's
Understandable.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I just think it's a flawed way of doing it. Like, if we're picking the best teams, I think we go with the best teams. If we're ranking the top 8 and then, okay, whatever. But it's just a weird way of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Because like you said, it doesn't happen in football or basketball.
Yeah, I don't mind having maybe like a power ranking at the end of the season that
Sure.
who you think are the best teams at the end of the season, or who had the best. I don't know. But to rank them in a poll, just why do it? Why go through the process if you're just gonna? I mean, if you're just gonna put them in order, essentially, with which they were ranked or seeded.
That's the thing. Why don't we have a poll? Let's just go with who won.
Just, kind of moving a couple of pieces around based on whether they made it to the region finals, whether they got to super regionals or not. I don't know.
Anyway,
it is flawed. You are correct. College baseball polls are flawed. Says it right there.
And that's it. Again, doesn't matter. It's just a weird way to do it. The Nashville Predators, speaking of weird ways of doing things, offered Philip Forsberg an 8-year contract, but apparently it wasn't enough money because he hasn't signed it yet. That happened on June 23rd, as per John Glennon, who we will have on the show Friday. But a report came out yesterday from Frank Saravalli, who is a hockey insider and president of hockey content at Daily Faceoff. Seems like if you're the president of hockey content at a place called the Daily Faceoff, you probably know what you're talking about.
I would think so.
He's also president of the Pro Hockey Writers Association, so I feel like he knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Frank tweets out yesterday and says that his sources tell him that Philip Forsberg has asked for less than $9 million a year, which is less than what the Predators are currently paying. Is it Johansson or Yossi's the top?
Yossi,
I think it's Yossi.
Mm-hmm.
Yossi being the highest paid player on the team.
El Capitan.
And if he's asking for low 8s, which is what Saravalli is saying, or Saravalli, I don't know how to say his name. If he's asking for low 8s and he's willing to go 8 years, what are we doing?
I mean, on paper, it seems extremely appropriate, and it appears, that Forsberg has, there's some concession may not be the appropriate word, but some thought into wanting to stay and, picking a number that is under what the captain's making, as to not, to kind of fall in line to be still a part of it, because he had an A on his sweater, did he not? Wasn't he one of the?
I think he was an assistant, yeah.
Yeah, one of the associate captains, assistant captains, however you want to.
Whatever they call
about it, had the A on the sweater. So I mean, it appears that he's targeting a number that should fall in line with staying. Now I don't have a clue what the cap numbers and all the business dealings of that, but much like Freddie Freeman wants to stay, it appears, that Forsberg does want to stay in Nashville and is targeting a number that is reasonable to fit in with what they've got going. So I agree with you. It makes you wonder, what's the whole another 1,000 other components that play into these things that we probably don't have a clue about. But I guess it's a good sign as a fan to see that the athlete through the agent, or the agent through the athlete, is proposing something that should play well with the organization. So that is a positive sign as Preds fans that wish Forsberg to stay, and I don't know any that would not want him to stay.
There are some in the Nashville media market who are disputing Saravalli's claim. I'll just say this. The only person I see disputing it doesn't have a great track record. So I'm going to go with Saravalli.
Well,
and
we'll find out from John Glennon, too, on Friday.
We'll find out a little bit. Yeah, he keeps his ear to the ground, so to speak. And so I really am interested to see how this plays out, because obviously July 13th is when he would be a free agent. And so there's still a couple of weeks left for
got a little time
for David Poyle to get this deal done. But if he does not get the deal done, and this report is accurate, it's got to be it, right?
Well, I mean, you hope that there's there better be a logical and reasonable explanation. I mean, you're right. I mean, he David, you got some explaining to do.
There's no doubt. Now, like the Shea Weber deal, he had good reason for some of the stuff, but man, if this is accurate and you have a chance to lock up one of the best forwards, if not the best forward in your franchise's history, for 8 years at less than $9 a year, and you don't get it done, that's grounds for me. I mean, that's grounds. Despite anything else, I mean, and especially when you add on top of all of the other issues that the Predators have had, and backup goalie, etc., and that's, I mean, it's not good. It's not good. But anyway, that's where we stand. We don't know the specifics. We don't know the negotiations. We don't know any of that. We are certainly just going off of what we're seeing on Twitter and some other reports. But man,
speculate, because that's what we do.
We have to do. It's all we can do.
Right.
Let's talk some college football, JP.
Yeah,
we got some big college football news today. So curious when the next shoe is going to drop on this one. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll come back right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, JP Plant here with you on this Tuesday edition. Sans Mo Patton. And, you know, we miss Mo.
We do. Especially
on days when breaking news from Freddie Freeman happens.
Oh, man.
This is brutal.
He would have had something to say.
Oh, man.
Would he have ever?
Mark Bowman saying that Freddie Freeman's statement is, last weekend in Atlanta was a very emotional time for me and my family. I'm working through some issues with my longtime agents at Excel. My representation remains a fluid situation, and I will update if needed.
There we go.
Now, that was 30 minutes ago, so it's certainly interesting. As I'm scrolling through Twitter, and we're talking a little college football here next, Aaron Torres, a Fox Sports Radio host, obviously. It's interesting. I know who Aaron Torres is, and maybe it's just maybe I'm just a goofball, but Aaron Torres is not verified on Twitter.
Huh? Didn't have the blue check?
Yeah. And I feel like he really should. Like, I don't know a whole lot of Fox Sports hosts, and I know who Aaron Torres is, so I'm really confused. Anyway, knee deep in college football prep and have found the single craziest stat from 2021. And we talked about this all last year. This team outrushed, outpassed, and outscored its opponents throughout the 2021 season. And finished 3-9.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
It's Nebraska.
Nebraska, absolutely.
Is that not? I knew that they didn't lose a game by double digits, but I did not realize that they outrushed, outpassed, and outscored their opponents for the season.
Yeah.
And finished 3-9. Is that the unluckiest season in the history of college football?
Well, on the surface, it's certainly unlucky. It begs the question, how? And, you know, where do you point to getting over that hump? I mean, stuff like that, it has to be the coach, right? I mean, ultimately, the buck's got to stop there for things of that nature.
It's funny, you know.
Because that's a cultural thing, right?
It's just weird. Not knowing how to win.
Of not knowing how to win, of not finishing.
Yeah.
That's a cultural thing. Which
and Nebraska has had that issue, and that's not a Scott Frost issue. That is an issue that has permeated that program for the last decade or more, much like Tennessee. You know, that they've struggled to learn how to win, and so they, even in situations where they have an opportunity, they can't finish it. So, sans the 1 year that Josh Dobbs and Jawan Jennings took over the entire program, but that exception that proves the rule. Nebraska will not play a true road game until week 6 at Rutgers, which is, I guess that's a true road game because you have to go to Rutgers. But other than that,
halfway across the country. But yeah,
I mean, other than that, it's still Rutgers, but they don't have Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan State on the schedule.
Yeah. Well, you know, per what you just talked about, and while so many people have given up completely on Scott Frost, you can't forget what he did at obviously down at South Florida, right? USF, Central Florida, South
Central,
Florida,
Central,
the Knights, the national champions,
correct.
Whatever. So, but the season they had last year, you think if they get a couple of wins, turn those around early in the season, close game, you think about a snowball effect, and then the schedule that you just mentioned, this could be a 9-10 win team this year.
I think they they could be. Look, there's no question that Nebraska has a chance to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't have is, and I don't, obviously I have no idea what the ins and outs of their roster, but I mean, Adrian Martinez is gone, which is probably the best thing that could have happened for them. I don't know what their current quarterback room looks like, but they got to have something. They got to have somebody. So who is it?
Yeah, maybe just a fresh voice. I mean, oftentimes, fresh voice in the huddle could be the difference.
Trying to look at their football roster sorted by position, and so let's get down here.
I certainly didn't see us breaking down Nebraska's roster on today's show.
No,
this is interesting.
No. Chubba Purdy. All I know, so
Good
he's a transfer from Florida State, but the man's name is Chubba Purdy, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, there you
go. Heinrich
lineman, you said?
No, this is a quarterback.
Oh, that's the quarterback? Chubba is the quarterback?
Chubba Purdy, like you got a Purdy mouth. Purdy.
Double bell for that one.
Heinrich Harburg, Haarberg, from Kearney, Nebraska, because Heinrich certainly screams Kearney, Nebraska.
Yep.
Richard Torres out of San Antonio, freshman.
Okay.
Redshirt freshman Jarrett Sinek out of Hastings, Nebraska. Matt Masker, great name. Junior, also out of Kearney, Nebraska. Also from Kearney Catholic, the same school that Heinrich Harburg went to. So there's that. Cooper
Huskers.
Yeah, huh? Cooper Hossman out of Rocca. Hope it's Rocca. Rocca, Nebraska. And then This is a weird one for me because I know this kid. Logan Smothers out of Muscle Shoals.
Okay.
Did not realize that he was.
What high school did Logan go to?
Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals High School?
Muscle Shoals High School. He's a Trojan. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. I know his dad because his dad coached at Jasper in Walker County. So
that's a big quarterback room. You mentioned a lot of names there.
Yeah, it is a big quarterback room, and they have one upperclassman, and that's the junior from Kearney, not Harburg, the other guy. So I don't know. Good luck to Nebraska.
So I guess we're bullish on Nebraska, maybe?
I would be.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's one of those where you could put $50 on every game for them on the money line and probably make money at the end of the year.
Okay. All right. Bullish on the Huskers.
Yeah.
Steak and corn for dinner. Here we go.
The Atlantic Coast Conference announced today that they will go to 14 pods.
Beginning this fall?
It's not really pods. It's one division, but each team has 3 primary opponents.
Okay.
Yes, this will be for 2023.
Okay.
So not this year, but next year.
Right. Talk to me, Goose. Let's hear it.
3 primary opponents, and then you will play the other 10 league teams home and away in a 4-year cycle.
Okay.
So this is the way you should be doing it if you have What do they have? 14 teams?
I believe.
Yeah, they have 14. So this works out for
not
them. It
including
doesn't.
Notre Dame. Is that right, or does that include Notre Dame?
Does not include Notre Dame.
So how does that play into the mix? How can you do?
They may not. Well, Notre Dame, that contract may be over. I don't know. But right now, so Clemson each year will play Florida State, North Carolina State, and Georgia Tech.
Okay.
That's
one pod.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a pod because they don't have
air quotes. You didn't see. You were looking down.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
How
Why don't you call them pods?
I mean, I guess you have to because they are 14 pods. They're just one. They're just one division,
or just divisions. Pod, division. I mean, if you get divisions, then you got to come up with names for them. And
right.
We've seen how that's worked out.
We don't want to do that.
The Low Country, the Coastal, the
champions
the
and
Blue
challenge,
Ridge.
champions and legends and leaders.
Oh yeah. No,
that was terrible.
Forget the names.
Wake Forest gets Duke, Tech, and Virginia Tech. So Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Virginia Tech has Pitt, Virginia, and Wake Forest.
Okay.
So Pitt is in with Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Boston College. This is it's really unique because it's hard to
So this sounds like it is. They are not pods because the 4 teams. Well, hold on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
if you put those 4 teams together, they would be 4. They would be.
They all
pods,
play each other every year.
Yeah. Duke gets North Carolina State, and Wake Forest. That's actually a pretty solid, 3 opponent. But again, it really doesn't matter because you're going to play 5 of your conference opponents every year.
Yeah.
So you're going to get different teams, and then the top 2 teams by winning percentage will play in the ACC championship game presented by Subway.
Okay, I like that. Take the overall top 2 teams winning percentage.
I think that's what I think. So it's not pods because they don't have an even number of teams, right? Well, like they don't have 16 teams like the SEC will have.
And it's not a true division, aka pod, because you just mentioned Duke has Wake Forest, North Carolina, and NC State. Well, Wake Forest, they don't have those same 3 teams as their every year rival. They've got different teams. They have 1 or 2 of the same, but not all of them. So it's truly not a pod.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it. I like that. And I hope the SEC may follow this pattern.
I don't think they can because they have 16 teams.
Yeah, I mean mathematically it'd be.
That's the challenge is 16 teams.
Well, it depends on how many conference games you play a year.
Yeah, if you play 9, it makes a difference.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to SEC Media Days when I hope Greg Sankey starts it off with an announcement.
Yep.
July 18th, SEC Media Days.
July 18th. Yep. I'll be there.
We will be there,
Yes.
but that's still kind of quiet. I mean, not really, but let's take a break.
That's why I whispered.
Yeah, let's take a short break. When we come back, second half of Main Street Sports Today comes at you after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
All right, we roll right into half number 2 of Main Street Sports Today for this Tuesday at Chip Walters. Again, coming up around 3 o'clock. Got our Daily Braves segment coming up in just a moment, and it is Top 5 Tuesday, and that will be Top 5 video games. So stick around. JP playing alongside the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao. Half number 2 of Main Street Sports Today.
Yes, it is. JP, we've talked a lot of Braves today, but yeah, I don't know if you have seen Mo's pictures or his posts since he's been on his way back. But, you know, when he was headed to New Orleans, he's headed back today. How does he get Jody to drive? I can't pay Sarah to drive.
I don't know. You know, some people like to drive. Some people don't, I guess. I don't know. I always drive everywhere we go. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy driving. So, I mean, you know, there are a few occasions where I'm falling asleep, so I've got to pull over and, you know, I got to tap out for a minute. But do you not like driving?
I don't like it.
Really?
I would much rather ride.
Yeah, because you like to look at Twitter.
Well, I mean, just in general, like it makes me tired. I have to listen to podcasts to comedy podcasts to keep me awake because the music plus the road plus and typically when I'm driving, I'm on 65, so it's straight up and down and there's nothing to see.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Now, if I'm on a road trip, someplace I've not seen before, sure, absolutely. Yeah. I'll drive, but otherwise, no, I just don't like it. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm just jealous because he gets Jody to drive.
Yeah. Well, can't help you much on that one.
It is what it is.
By the way, how was your anniversary yesterday?
Well, I spent it at the Tennessee 5 debate last night.
Yeah. Did you have dinner last night together? Were you able to make something like that happen?
No, we did not. Had to be at the debate at 5. Yeah.
Did you get a leather gift being the 3rd year?
It's coming.
Okay.
I have the first watch that Sarah ever gave me, the watch band broke.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she's getting me a new watch band.
There you go.
But yeah.
Well, that worked out well.
It did.
A need to fit into the 3rd anniversary.
Exactly.
Ecosphere.
And it goes with the first gift she got me, so it's a whole thing.
Nice. Ties it all in together.
It really does.
Such symmetry.
Speaking of ties, I have to tell you the story. Wedding on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Twins. The groom had a twin.
Okay.
And apparently they both love dad jokes. Guy gets up there to do a speech with no notes.
Okay.
Just memorized it, I guess. Says, you know, yes, we are twins. Obviously, everybody knows that. He said the only way you can tell us apart today are by our ties, but it's not a tie because his is better.
Not a tie because his is better. Yes.
And I was like, this guy's phenomenal.
Going deep. Well, sometimes it's good when you have to think about it. A little cerebral joke, right?
And so I promise you, it was one of the best men speeches I've ever heard, and just because there were probably 10 good dad jokes in there. I mean, they were just solid, just one after the other, and he was rolling it. And it was
how old was are these twins?
25, 26-ish.
Really?
So
doing dad jokes?
Oh yeah, killing it. So anyway,
they're making a comeback apparently.
they are. The Atlanta Braves are looking ahead to the Phillies and Reds road trip. After this road trip, they will no longer be the team with the least amount of road games played in the 2022 season. At Philadelphia, who is without Bryce Harper. And then they'll go to the Reds and hope to avenge some early season losses against the Reds up there. But
a little payback time.
Yeah, but to do it, they'll have to do it without their closer, Kenley Jansen.
Okay, hold on. Before you
no,
get
I don't
further,
want to talk about it.
No, but explain to me the Jensen, Will Smith. Who's whom? Or do we have a setup and a closer? Are these
yes?
defined roles?
Will Smith is technically the eighth inning guy.
Okay, Will Smith has moved into that this year with the addition of Jansen, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Matzik, who is on the IL and starting a rehab stint tonight in Augusta for the Green Jackets. He was the seventh inning guy, and then he kind of had some struggles. So AJ Minter worked into the seventh inning, and so AJ has kind of been the seventh inning guy. Then Will Smith comes in, and if you survive the Will Smith experience, Kenley Jansen comes in, and if you survive that, you usually win, but that doesn't necessarily mean you survive.
Yeah.
The eighth and ninth innings are, well, certainly understandable how one might have heart issues watching the rest of the bullpen. That's all I'm saying.
Good segue.
Kenley Jansen goes to the IL with an irregular heartbeat. This is something that Kenley has suffered with throughout his career. I believe he had some corrective surgery in 2018 and may end up having to have something similar again. So right now, I guess at this point, Will Smith back to the closer role, potentially AJ Minter to the closer role. He's been the best reliever on the team to this point, but with Matzik not back, Strider in the rotation, Darren O'Day's been trash. I don't know. I don't know what the Braves bullpen looks like. Obviously, Colin McHugh is still available, but he's not been great. Of course, he hasn't been used a whole lot, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe, he's a guy who needs to be used more often. He was in, I don't know if he was a closer, but he was in a late innings role where he was being used more often prior to coming to Atlanta and prior to his injury. So I guess we'll find out.
Well, while it's not great to hear what Jansen's going through and certainly will be missed, it is an opportunity, for either Will Smith. I mean, I guess that's the question. Will he just shift into that closer role? And then who will step up into that eighth inning position and, build up to, to have more people game ready, I guess, if you will, the air quotes there for the postseason. I mean, Snicker obviously with his pedigree of sticking with guys, and so it's an opportunity for somebody to step up. I mean, that's the age old song and dance for sports. Next man up, right?
Pretty much have to be, because the Braves are 5 games out of first place against behind the New York Mets. They are 3 games ahead of Philadelphia and certainly need to win this series to continue their hot June. 16-5 on the month. Charlie Morton going tonight against Zach Wheeler. Morton 4-3 with a 4.84 ERA. Wheeler 6-4 with a 2.77 ERA. I think that kind of just goes back to the Phillies haven't been super this year. But the matchup predictor, according to ESPN Analytics, has the Braves to lose 60-40. So
what do they know? What do they know?
Castellanos had 4 hits in the Phillies' last game. Phillies are money line favorite. So there's that. We'll see.
Regular season baseball odds are just
it's a crapshoot.
Tossing darts.
Yes, it is.
Throwing pasta on the ceiling.
Morton is coming off one of his better starts, so we'll see how that works out. But tonight, the DH, Mike Ford.
There you go.
Who I'm pretty sure they took out of the stands last weekend while on that homestand. But there's that. Going to be an interesting night for Atlanta. It's 6:05, as we told you on the rundown earlier. All right, let's get to this day in Braves history. On this day in 1963, Warren Spahn outduels Don Drysdale in a 1-0 win over the Dodgers. It's the first time Spahn beat the Dodgers on the road in 15 years. He had not done it since August of 1948 and had lost 14 straight decisions against the Dodgers on the road until he was able to break that streak with a 1-0 win over Drysdale. So
there you go.
How you like it? Chip Walters will join us on the other side of this break, so stick around. We'll talk about Middle Tennessee State and the Blue Raiders after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Well, welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, JP Plant here. From our humble abodes.
Very humble.
Yeah, I've got the woods in the background.
It's a very scenic spot.
It is. I like
very,
it.
Serene.
It's certainly serene. You and your nice little studio there.
Study. Yeah, I like study. It makes me sound like I'm somewhat smart. So we'll go with it. Whether
Exactly.
I'm studying here or not, but it works.
We assume that the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, coming to us. He usually comes to us from his office. Is that where he is? It looks like it.
It appears so.
Look at there. It's Choose Chip. What's going on, man?
Oh, it's today Tuesday. It still feels like Monday.
I think so.
It really does. I will say the sunshine is quite nice, but I just like looking at it from inside the air conditioning.
Boy, I'll tell you, it feels so much nicer than it did over the weekend. I was actually at the Speedway Friday night and Sunday afternoon for the NASCAR series. Didn't go on Saturday, but had a good time on Friday night at the truck race, and then able to be there for the Cup race on Sunday afternoon until the rain hit. And when the rain hit,
you dipped.
I dipped and watched the end of it when I got home and was squeezing water out of my tennis shoes.
It kind of, had everybody left during the lightning delay, that'd have been all right. But waiting until the rain came, that was the mistake that many people made.
Well, we were Jim McGuire, a buddy of mine, the coach at Vol State now. He and I were there, and it got to a point with the rain. We knew we were going to leave because we weren't sure what they were going to do, and neither one of us really wanted to stay till 11 o'clock at night, which is when it ended up finishing. But at one point he goes, we're not going to get any wetter, so let's just go onto the car. And that was the truth. But the thing is, I think that and you had the lightning delay, and then they brought them in under caution, or they threw a caution when it was just spitting a little bit of rain and wasn't doing enough, I think, to get anything wet. I still think had they let it go green, instead of about 5 laps under caution, they would have gotten about 12 laps in under green during that same time period. And then when the rain came, they would have been over 150 instead of at 139, and probably would have sent everybody home at that point. But it all worked out.
Chase Elliott's certainly glad they didn't do that.
Well, that's true. And man, did the track ever change after the rain came and washed all the rubber off? And Chase had been kind of struggling a little bit, and Kyle Busch had gone from 36th up to 3rd, and because he had to start at the back of the field. Daniel Suarez was really good early, and then he fell back, and finally, just kind of like on Friday afternoon during Cup practice, Chase Elliott, he just kind of kept tinkering with the thing, and then he kind of let the track come to him. I mean, when they got out there on a green track, his car was a rocket ship and took off and really controlled everything. Once he got the lead, he controlled things there.
Chip, I'm curious, you talking about the race, any back roads that you were able to take? Were you able to snake your way through from Murfreesboro, or did you have to go on the road traveled like everyone else on 840?
Oh, no. Well, from Murfreesboro, just go up 231 toward Lebanon and then cut over on Bill France Boulevard. That's the easy way to go in and out if you're coming from Murfreesboro. But when we left Friday night, we were able to, when we got back up to Bill France Boulevard, we were able to turn left and go back to 231. But on Sunday, we parked on the 840 side of the track off of Dale Earnhardt Drive. And when we left, we had to get on 840, but we're able to go down just one exit, which is Jefferson Pike, Smyrna, and go cut down that way and go back to Murfreesboro. So, neither way, I don't know how it was. It was starting to get backed up, and I was in it last year when that was probably the biggest complaint last year was parking, getting in and getting out. This year, instead of making you stop and pay for your parking, they just added $5 to your ticket as a parking fee.
So they did do that. We were curious if that's what they did.
Yeah, they did that, and it was great. And the cars got in so easily, and for the situation with the weather, we actually got out pretty good as well. But we had kind of beat the biggest part of the crowd by the ones that ended up leaving. I think left probably 30 minutes after we did. And, but we also kind of parked strategically to where we were headed, toward the exit gate. So it all worked out good. And I'm telling you, the difference between year one and year two of like all the setup with the merchandise trailers and all the entertainment outside the track, it was apples and oranges. It was incredibly good this year, and kudos to Eric Moses and the whole crew with Speedway Motorsports and the crew there at the Nashville Speedway.
Speaking of racetracks, how about the Blue Raider Tracksters?
They
are dominating on the world stage.
they've continued to do things well, and we have a really good group of international runners and field athletes, but Alaba Akintola and Esther Issa are both from Nigeria, and this past weekend both won national championships in Nigeria in their sports. And Alaba Akintola is a sprinter, and the Nigerian track association, or whatever you want to call it, they were really trying to push their 4x100 meter relay team to get a qualifying time that would get them into the world championships. And I think they had to go 3 different times running the full 4x100 and finally got a time that qualified them for the world championships coming up. But in between all of that, Akintola was in the 200 meter, won the national championship with a time of 20.51. So he got that, and also goes with the 4x100 meter team. And Esther Issa, who is a jumper as well, she had a high jump of 1.88 meters, which was good for the Nigerian national championship. And then Abigail Kwartang, who was the national runner-up at the NCAA meet, just for fun, cruised on over to Jamaica for the Jamaican national trials and had the best jump over there at 1.90, but she was not allowed to win it because she was not Jamaican. She's Ghanan. She didn't get a medal, but she had the best overall jump, which will also send her to the world championship. So they were all busy this weekend for sure.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Yeah.
So not Jamaican, goes and performs in the Jamaican Nationals, I guess. Is that just an opportunity to qualify for the national?
Correct.
Okay. So
and I remember back in the day, back in the 80s, when Dean Hayes used to have a meet in the spring, or right before the NCAA out or indoors, and it was called the Last Chance Meet, and that's where anybody who was trying to get a qualifying time or a qualifying mark, they would come in, and you had some of the best track people in the world, and that's where I had a chance to see Herschel Walker run the 60 meters in Murphy Center, and I'm telling you, that dude took up the entire lane, and had a chance to see him run in the indoor there, and also Bo Jackson came and ran for Auburn in the sprint. So, but yeah, so just one more piece of evidence about the history of the Blue Raider track field, and how it does have its tentacles out all the way around the world.
Certainly a long history of success for the Blue Raiders in the track world. Wanted to talk to you about a couple other things. Now, the Blue Raider Blitz, and I saw this on Twitter. I saw the summer tour coming, and I was like, is that the same thing as the Blue Raider Blitz? So apparently it's not. Tell me a little bit about this, because it got me confused when I first saw it on Twitter.
Right. And so, yeah, the Blue Raider Blitz, which we gave all the dates and locations of last week, and we'll do that. We'll hit those again next week before it actually, or in the next couple of weeks before it actually gets underway. The summer tour is actually something that's kind of homegrown, that takes place pretty much in Rutherford County, and it's just a few different events. One of the things is you've got Fridays with 20% off Blue Raider gear at Lightning's Locker Room, which is powered by Textbook Brokers right there across from the stadium. So you can do that on Fridays, but they've got Blue Raider Family Fun Night coming up on July 12th at Strike and Spare out in Stones River Mall. Basically the wristband that you normally pay $20 for to get unlimited everything. including laser tag, bumper cars, all that stuff, is just $10, and on that evening. Then you've got other you've got other stuff that's going to go on there with the again, the lunch events and dinner events that are part of the Blue Raider Blitz. But it's the whole summer tour is getting ready to crank up, and they're out at the thing at Strike and Spare, that family night. We had a huge crowd at that thing last year. There was like free pizza and soft drinks, and then all the kids were going to laser tag and bumper cars and bowling and all of that. It was just a really good night for families. They could come out and, with a couple of kids, spend $20 and you've got them entertained for the night.
Big kids including, absolutely. Chip Walters, our guest here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. He visits us each and every Tuesday, talking Blue Raider sports. And Chip, of course, Title IX has affected universities all across the country, MTSU no exception. Some big plans, we understand, about a year-long celebration. What can we expect?
Well, Middle has a long history of outstanding women's athletics, and just whatever the 23rd was, today's the 28th, so that would have been last Thursday, I guess, was the 23rd, and that was the 50th anniversary of Title IX being signed into law by President Nixon, and it was a 37-word piece of legislation, and it changed the world for women. Not only in athletics, but that's one of the most visible things that we see. Actually, the lady who put forth the Title IX legislation, she was just trying to she was a college professor, and she was just trying to get a level playing field for women to get professor jobs. But as it turned out, it meant that anything that got federal funding in education had to be equal to the men, and that meant not only scholarships for women's athletics, it also added so many opportunities for coaches, and at Middle we've got a terrific example of that in Diane Turnham, who has been on the staff here for 40 years, and she was able to, I had her on a radio show here over the weekend, and she talked about, when she went to Lipscomb to play women's basketball, the priority of who got the floor at McQuitty Gym at the time was the Lipscomb College men, the Lipscomb High School boys, Lipscomb High School girls, and then the college women's team. So, and now that you don't even, that's not even an issue, but even stuff like, when you think about it, it's not just the scholarships, it's not just the coaching, but that the women's athletes have the same opportunities with academic enhancement, the same type of medical care, the same type of transportation from events that men's do in similar sports. And, and now we're all at a point where we can't imagine a world that would be any different from that. And it's been 50 years. And Diane is a person, she is, again, it was really interesting to talk to her about that, because she's the only person that I know of in the world that has served as the chairman of the NCAA soccer selection committee, the NCAA volleyball selection committee, and the NCAA women's basketball selection committee. Wow. Ironically, her year as the chair of the women's basketball committee, Diane will tell you, said they were the only ones that never had any complaints on who they selected for the field, because they never had a chance to do it. She was the chair in 2020 and was in Indianapolis with her committee members waiting to make their, go into the weekend and make their selections when everything got called off. But she's just one part of what there will be different topics each and every month. And there's a website that will be the that will house all of this information. And it's pretty easy. It's goblueraiders.com/Title9 and use the Roman numeral Title IX. goblueraiders.com/Title IX. And there'll be, and I think the podcast of that interview that I did with her may go up there here pretty soon, but there's all kinds of information there and will be added to throughout the year. And every month there'll be a new topic that'll be brought up.
Chip, one final thing
Yes,
before
sir.
we let you go. Maybe a short something before then, but you guys, what's the latest on facility updates? I know that obviously it's summertime, so this is the time to get those things done.
Well, certain things are happening. Alumni Gym, which is the home venue for women's volleyball now, I saw pictures. They're getting a whole new floor put in.
Ooh.
So not just a sanding and a paint job, but they're getting a whole new floor put in. In August, once camps are done and summer graduation is completed, then there's been a contest. People could submit designs for the Murphy Center floor. Haven't seen a winner yet, but that will get a sanding and a paint job. Also in August, expect groundbreaking on the new outdoor tennis facility that will be where the current one is. So they'll demo the old one, build the new one in that same general area.
So a whole brand new facility we're coming with.
Yeah,
That's
whole
awesome.
brand. I mean, that one's going to come down and dug up and start from scratch on the men's and women's outdoor facility. And then the student athlete performance center, which is the kind of the crown jewel, or one of the two crown jewels of the $100 million facility project, will they're already doing a lot of the. You'll see spray painted lines where surveyors and all have been there marking stuff. As soon as the regular season of football concludes, it'll come down, and then the new one will start construction, and that'll take about 1.5 years to get done. So there's a lot of things are happening, and you're really going to start seeing things happen within the next month.
There you go, Chip. Your brief thoughts on the retirement of Bill Clark.
Stunned. I was, I saw your post about it, and I had texted after I saw it on Twitter. I guess I texted my buddy David Crane down at UAB, and then what the heck is going on? And he goes, I don't know. I'm showing houses. Let me go figure this out, and I'll call you back. So he's a realtor in Birmingham, and so he called back and said, yeah. He goes, it appears that what was put out there that Bill's had some pretty serious back issues, was the biggest part of this. It's just interesting, the timing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Bobby Johnson several years ago at Vanderbilt, who waited till August 1st or whatever to resign so Robbie Caldwell could get the job there. And I also found it interesting that this came down while the athletic director was out of I don't know if he was out of the country, but he was at least out of town on vacation.
Well, yeah, there are some storylines there, but hey, it wouldn't be UAB if there weren't storylines, right?
That's right. And hey, one thing, JP, remind me next week. I know you all do This Day in Braves History. Next Tuesday, remind me to tell you my Braves history story that relates to the 4th of July.
Perfect.
All right, Chip Walters, every Tuesday. Chip, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
See you, boys.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. It's Top 5 Tuesday. We have video games, top 5 video games coming up right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Good thing we were in commercial break when that blue alert went up.
Yeah. Yeah, got my attention.
I wasn't ready.
Man.
I was just trying to figure out what's going on in the world of EA Sports video games, as we're going to have Matt Brown from Extra Points on Thursday. And, man, my watch went off. My phone went off. If you're in Tennessee, you likely got a blue alert just a second ago. Yep. And, boy, that was kind of scary. So there you go. Man, oof, those things get me. At least it wasn't, like 2 a.m, because that's when it really gets you. You're like, you. Are you kidding me?
It's designed to stir you, and it will. So.
JP, like I said, we got Matt Brown coming up on a Thursday. He's going to join us and talk about the EA Sports college football game that is coming out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about our favorite video games from, I guess, our past and current. I still play a couple of these. Current? Yeah, I still play a couple of. Okay. I don't play a lot of video games, but there are 2 things that I do play, and so anyway, here we go. Top 5 Tuesdays presented by Mid-South 5 Fitness. That's stillathletes.com, at stillathletes on Facebook and on Instagram. So go check out Thalas Still in the Gang. 2 great locations, one in Columbia, one in Franklin. So Mid-South 5 Fitness, check them out. Top 5 video games. Here we go. I've got 3 honorable mentions that we'll get to.
Okay.
Because it's highly unlikely 2 of them are on your list. One of them might be, but I doubt it. Number 5, I'll start, and we'll go with the OG Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 5 for me, Sim City.
Nice.
Sim City.
That's taking it back. Yes. Mid 2000s. Did you have that on PC?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where I had it.
That's where you had to have it.
Yep.
A lot of these kids playing Minecraft these days don't know.
No, I have no idea.
They have no idea. My number 4, mid 90s perfection, Mario Kart 64.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, it's still to this day, Mario Kart's a great game, and then, but yeah, Mario Kart 64. I play it on my phone now.
There you go. My number 4, and this kind of goes to partially the reason why we're having this discussion, and our guest later in the week, but because of my age of not really having this by the time it came out, NCAA football. So I didn't get a chance to really have it on a system that I owned. so I didn't get a chance to play it as much as I would have.
What was the last system that you owned?
The last system? Well, I had a Wii, but I had Nintendo. I think I went Super Nintendo, and then I never got a PlayStation or the Sony.
Did you play the NCAA football game on Super Nintendo? Because there was one.
I mean, I'm sure I played it. I don't think I owned it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't
that's back when you could rent video games for a night or two, and you had to take it back.
Yep.
Number 3 for me is Donkey Kong Country from Super Nintendo.
Okay. All right.
That was when he would do the little and knock the bananas everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my thing.
My number 3, Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson, baby.
That's one of the reasons that it's not great for me is because Bo Jackson was so dominant. It was like,
it was fun to play.
Yeah, it was.
I was with the Cowboys. I was a Cowboys fan at that point. So
gotcha. My number 2 is a game I still play, and that is Tiger Woods PGA Tour on the Wii.
Yep. Okay.
I love playing Tiger Woods. I don't like playing Tiger Woods with a controller. I want to have the actual, you have to actually swing with the Wii stick, and it's a whole thing, and it's a little bit more realistic, I guess.
Yep.
So, yeah, Tiger Woods on the Wii.
Okay. All right. My number 2, Mario Kart. Yep.
Nice.
I'm with you, Mario Kart. So many hours. So many hours. That was fun.
Number 1 for me is the NCAA football series. I still play NCAA football 13 now. I mean, I've got a dynasty going right now where I am the quarterback. I sent you the video or a picture from me playing it not too long ago into our group chat where I'm the quarterback at Vanderbilt. So,
okay. Really? Look at you.
Yeah. Chose Vandy. Take them to the Natty, baby.
There you go. That's the only way they're going to get there. So my number 1, Bases Loaded.
Oh, that's a good one.
Classic Nintendo, and that was my addictive game. Bases Loaded for sure. Yep.
So one of my honorable mentions is MLBPA baseball for Super Nintendo. You had 2 pitches. You hold the down arrow and hit X, and it was a fastball. The up arrow and X is a changeup. That's the only pitches you had. But I was always the Braves. They had a killer lineup, killer pitching staff. I mean, it was hard to beat the Braves in the 90s. And so MLBPA baseball was certainly not hard. I loved Ken Griffey Jr. baseball too, but I didn't own that one. My buddy Matt Mitchell, who from It's a Southern Thing and friend of the show, he had Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, so that's where I played it. And Tecmo Super Basketball.
What?
There was a Tecmo created a NBA game, and John Paxson, baby, was just absolute lights out, was not missing for the Chicago Bulls. And finally, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, that was a little past my time. My honorable mentions, of course, Madden had just come onto the scene.
Yeah.
Also, Super Mario Brothers, the OG, if you will. And then Golden Tee.
Oh yeah,
Golden Tee.
If you see that at the
bar than Golden Tee, a couple of buddies, and a couple of pints of beer.
Yeah. That's a solid. That's
Enough
a solid one.
said.
All right, that's going to do it for Top 5 Tuesday, brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness and Video Games. We'll talk to Matt Brown from Extra Points later in the week, and we'll give him all the credit for everything that he has reported on the EA Sports College Football game, unlike a ton of YouTubers out there. So, yeah. Anyway, let's come back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We will have Heather Williams, WCYB TV. We'll talk NASCAR and Bubba Wallace's bad mood. Mo Patton will be back, and we will be in studio. So
Yes.
we'll be in Columbia all together tomorrow. So
We'll get a
should be a
report
lot of
on
fun.
his trip to North Carolina.
He'll report on his trip. We'll have Wild and Wacky Wednesday and so much more. So come back tomorrow. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. For JP, I'm Chris saying have a great day. See you then. What's up, baby, doing? What's up, baby? Hey, come here. What's up, baby, doing? Oh, man. What's up?